You know, I should be disappointed that this video exists and now I'm forcing myself to pounce upon it. But I'm more disappointed that I let myself use a Yu Yu Hakusho character. Now, of all the ones I grabbed, I picked up the furry. Well, I mean, I guess she is pretty adorable. Wait, is that recording this? Shit. So hello everybody, Lunatic the Game here, and today I found a pretty bad video by a young commentator named Benjamin Perry. Yeah, nice name, right up there with Jonas Smith. Anyways, I've checked out his other videos and really there isn't much to say about him since he's fairly new and quite mediocre to say the least. This video he's covering for his second commentary in question is on Blazing Larvesta's poor excuse of a commentary on ProGeared's top 10 scariest retro enemies. That being its own mess, but this video, that being said, anytime I'm inclined to go off onto Larvesta's side of the degree, I'll be switching over to Caulifla in order to evade confusion. But before we jump into the video, this freaking title, first off, it's quite long-winded, don't you think? Not to mention, it defies all grammar. To start off with, the word "an" is only used if a vowel is used after where you usually put the letter A. For an example, I have a cool idea versus I have an idea. Also, it should be disgusting word, not words. Blaze is just a word, thus you're not supposed to use plural. This sentence could only work if you said words like blaze are disgusting words. Dang, I never thought I'd have to give a 3rd grade lesson in a commentary. Actually, considering this is the CC, I should have seen this coming. You never see it coming. You know, I kinda ran into that one.
I am so mad that I have to do a stupid commentary on Blazing Larvesta. Okay, I'm ready. Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Perry. Today we're doing a Larvesta on commentary. Let's get started! And we're skipping the first part. Skipping!
I have many questions. First off, this intro is quite all over the place, wouldn't you say? You start off by angrily shouting how upset you are at the fact that you're commentating on Blazing Larvesta, commentating it and announcing you're ready, shouting your name and who you're hitting and saying you're skipping. I mean, nothing's apparently wrong with it, but it's disorganized as frick. Second off, there's a bit of dead air after announcing the skip, which I'll probably assume was left in by accident. Accident or not, it's very glaring and awkward. Also, it's Larvesta, get it right, you weeb.
Oh, looks like there's some leftover candy from this guy's house. I wonder what he's got. Huh, blue raspberry commentary material. Lick, 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 lick. Ugh, it's kind of sour. Oh well, I guess it's free candy, so what's to lose?
Nobody cares!
You know, I have the aching feeling that this is going to be the theme of this video. Look, why was all this in this video if you're just going to skip over it and not interject? Who the mess does that?
Oh, this is a rather unusual scenario we have here. Today I'm doing a commentary on a Halloween top 10 made by none other than famed gaming YouTuber ProGeared. Now, I'll be honest, I actually really like ProGeared as a content creator, and it honestly kind of hurts having to expose his mistakes, especially after what he's had to deal with IRL. But at the same time, this video really...
I have a feeling we're going to be here a while. Well, I do. I guess I'll just play some Sonic Forces. Oh, but no, seriously, couldn't you have at least sped this up a little bit? I mean, especially considering the interjection you're gonna make next.
Today, I will be providing a critique of your top 10 scariest retro enemies not from horror games list, pointing out mistakes you made in your video, and giving you advice on how to improve future works. Please note that I may make a few jokes that may come off as hurtful or insulting to you, but in the end, said jokes are purely made for entertainment purposes, and I do not actually wish any ill will towards you. With that said, I hope you enjoy my video.
We know! We don't need to tell you that your name! And also, we don't care. Bye!
Now, there isn't anything necessarily wrong with your interjection, though saying nobody cares about context is not really the best point since Larvesta was giving his context for his target, albeit the fact that he took way longer than necessary. I mean, considering we wasted around a minute only for you to make a 5-second interjection, I feel like you could have audio ducked it or something like that. This felt more dragged out, though to be fair, just speeding up alone could have helped. Also, Larvesta. You see, Larvesta, when it comes to introducing your target in context, it's fine for you to introduce yourself to your target and shit, but it takes you way too long, just saying.
my god. Is that? No, it can't be! Off-screen footage? Ah!
What? Why off-screen footage? Isn't a problem? Okay, I have questions. Why is it Halloween? It isn't. It's the Christmas.
So first off, I love the way you just suddenly cut off at the end. I mean, that's pretty great editing you got there. But no, seriously, are you in such a rush you can't even let yourself finish before stopping your recording? Second off, I get it. Blazing Larvesta's commentary was released on December 10th, and thus him introducing himself with material as a trick-or-treat may come off as a little strange. But remember, the video he's covering is also Halloween related, so it at least ties into what he's doing and makes sense. Take notes, Mr. A. Finally, this point is made nearly 2 minutes after he introduced himself with the Halloween material, and considering you made many other points in between here, it can be safe to assume that you were talking about his context, in which it wouldn't have made sense considering he never said a word about Halloween, and the timing either way wouldn't affect the commentary considering it had only been 2 months since this and the video Jared made. Frick, I almost missed that other good thing. Oh, right, Postal and Insecure and I have another thing I almost missed. Okay, you just asked, off-screen footage, is that a problem? Well, yeah, I do believe he's making a mountain out of a molehill here, and you kinda do touch upon that. You don't even really argue it. You just asked if it was an issue and went on. If you believe something's problematic, argue the damn problem.
Jeez, that scene of off-screen footage really hurt my eyes. Ow!
I can only name a handful of horror games that have genuinely terrified me over the years.
Wait a second. Is that sped up footage I'm seeing? Oh my gosh, it was actually possible all along! I mean, I think this would have been pretty necessary earlier if you wanted to get your point across earlier in the video, by the way, just saying.
I can only name a handful of horror games that have genuinely terrified me over the years. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, PT. But you know what was way scarier? Pixels. None of this polygon back when imagination was used to fill the void, and it was gruesome.
You say, as you cite
2 polygon-based games and no pixel games that scared you? Double standards are the best!
Ultimate Psycho Crusher!
Oh, I really shouldn't have done that for dramatic effect. Did you really just play all of this only to change your mind and not even make a freaking point? Like, really, how absurd. Like, I don't get how we got to this level. Matter of fact, you had a point right in front of your face. Larvesta, I'm taking you down. Clearly, this isn't double standards. Double standards, a rule or principle that is unfairly applied in different ways to different people or groups. Clearly, these aren't double standards. He's introducing a select few of games he admits scared him in recent times, only to bring up that those don't matter, as he'll be talking about retro or pixelated enemies, which he believes are scarier due to them leaving much up to your imagination. Larvesta, watch your target more than once.
Bubble Bobble is one of the cutest games ever made. You play as a cute little dragon, all the enemies are adorable, you spit bubbles, and when the enemies pop, they become delicious food. Seriously, everything about this game is adorable and cutesy, positively spooky.
everything in this cutesy game is just so cute and adorable, which is why I'm placing an enemy for this game on a scariest enemies list.
Yeah, next time you might want to word your sentences better, just a suggestion. Also, a production issue that absolutely plagues this video, blatant black borders. Now, those of you who have been with the CC for a while now may remember a hashtag called #BlackBordersMatter, which is a suggestion to content creators to remove black borders to make their videos more appealing. I bring this up as Jared here doesn't even try to hide his blatant black borders.
I have a feeling that this is the majority of the video.
You want to show your gameplay in the original resolution, but in that case, put a background over your footage, like this. See? Instant pretty. In the end, I know
And
this
we're
isn't
skipping again. This is a long intro, and we don't need to tell you that we need to tell you. Try.
But this isn't the intro. This is his first interjection, and there is a pretty clear point here. Matter of fact, why would you tell us you're skipping over all of this after you left in over a minute of content? Your point here is, this is a long intro, and we don't need to tell you that we need to tell you to try. Okay, so it was at this moment that I realized that this video was completely unscripted, and I guess I should have seen this coming.
You'll never see it.
No! We already did that one. Oh. But seriously, if it isn't, then I have no freaking clue what you're going on about, because Larvesta is simply telling Jared that his gameplay footage has black borders which he could fix, so I have no idea what you're trying to say here otherwise. Also, what's with your audio starting right before you can finish? I mean, I could have sworn that was an easy thing to learn, I guess.
The early 90s. It was so relaxing. You ski downhill in one of 3 different courses, and it's just super pleasant. You're feeling the fresh, cool air in your face, hitting other people, and doing sick jumps into dope flips for mad points. This was the ultimate wind-down game for Windows users long before— what the No!
Okay, what makes this Yeti enemy scary? Honestly, Jared, making a Speaks for Itself segment like this is probably the laziest thing you can do in a countdown. Segments like these don't explain why a segment is on a countdown, leaving viewers confused as to what in the world happened. Not only that, but in this case, the footage you show really doesn't do a good job at explaining why the Yeti is scary either, as it just shows the monster, who looks like something straight out of a 3-year-old's drawing no less, chasing after your character and gobbling them up. And while yes, that is admittedly a little unnerving, the footage shown just makes the Yeti come off as a random jump scare.
I'm not much of a Sonic fan these days.
Ben, I mean, you know what you're doing, right? You just moved past an entire segment without a single interjection. I mean, if there wasn't anything to say first, you could have just skipped it. You've been using these, so I don't see what you're missing here. Also, Larvesta, you idiot. What makes it so unnerving is the fact that it's basically a peaceful skiing game where nothing is out of the usual, and BAM! Random little kid drawing jumps out of nowhere and eats you. If you aren't expecting that, you're gonna be completely horrified. I mean, maybe you aren't scared, but I bet you understood where he was coming from.
There it is. The water.
Oh, now we're doing this. Jared, real talk.
Why did you break your own rules?
I mean, seriously, you clearly said in your intro that you were talking about scary video game enemies, not hazards.
This entry isn't so much a single enemy, but it's probably the most terrifying thing any Sonic player has ever had to deal with.
That does not validate your point in the slightest. Honestly.
Okay, I forgot to say this, but turn down the volume. It is way too high. Second, please, yeah. My problem is it would scare a person. But
We've come across an actual argument. This is not a drill, and I'm shaking as well, audience. Approaching this though, well, first off, I'm gonna point out how my audio is always projected off my TV due to my computer being hooked up to my TV for purposes. But even with my TV at level 12, the level I have it on when scripting this, which is usually where a game like Sonic Generations is high enough to be heard from outside my room, the footage for Larvesta's original video isn't even loud enough for me to hear completely on the other side of the room. Oh yeah, I was actually checking Larvesta's video.
Oof, post-lunatic here, and once again, I almost missed a pretty spicy point. For a point where all you do is complain about the volume, you have in so much unneeded context. Like, what the flip was all this here for? I actually edited out a lot of it myself, but there is a whole minute of unneeded context in there. Just put in him talking after this. Or you could have said this within your last or next points, something like that. And also your point here, it makes no sense. That it would scare a person does not at all affect what he said, which was that it's an obstacle, not an enemy.
Oh, and something else I've been meaning to bring up. Considering for a while you had yet to make enough points for it to become obvious, I think I'm clear now. Your avatar, Giffany. So, can you explain to me why you only have 2 images of her? Like, wow, really? I've seen videos with 1 image, but 2? Like, damn, usually 10 isn't enough, but 2? On top of that, you never even use them effectively. They're usually just changed at random without matching up with how you are in the video, which is usually why we have a lot of images of our avatar, to match up with our emotions. It kinda makes this pointless, I'll admit. Also, your lack of scripting becomes pretty apparent here. Or, I mean, I think your lack of scripting. If you don't have a script or something to at least help you memorizing where you're going with your dialogue, please get one for your next commentary.
There is one enemy that scared the Jesus out of me the first time I saw it. It stuck with me to this day. She starts showing up on the 3rd level of the dungeon. It's a ghost, but a lady ghost, with a rather pretty face floating there quite calmly. Until that's the face that got me so hard. I was lulled into a false sense of security, and then Alright, well, if that doesn't scare you, maybe this will. If you want to continue your game, it takes 5 separate passwords.
Nobody cares! Nobody!
Okay, in all seriousness though, that came completely out of nowhere. If that was meant to be a joke, it's a rather weak joke, as it has absolutely nothing to do with this segment's candidate, the Ghost Lady, and just serves as a mindless distraction that really shouldn't have been included in this segment.
Oh, but you see, the 5 passwords were the candidate for this segment.
Well, if that's the case, though to be fair, I seriously doubt it is, then not only did you ramble on about irrelevant nonsense for most of the segment again, but just like the Sonic 2 water, the passwords shouldn't be on the list either.
Larvesta, what would have indicated that this would have been the real entry? Yeah, sure, he doesn't explain why it makes it scary, but that's a part of the fact that he's playing it off as a joke. Cause it's a joke. The human brain works well enough to know that passwords aren't scary, but understand that having to type in a multitude of them to progress sounds really intimidating and irritating.
The sad part is, you took out the 30 seconds of context that would have helped us understand this. It's almost like you did this on purpose.
Oh, I forgot the Vengeance Ghost from Daggerfall.
No, Jared,
Okay, I felt like you didn't even make a script. I felt like you didn't even watch the video at all as well. I just felt like you were not even listening to the video or even making points. My question is, could you make your videos better?
So basically, you're telling him to get good? At what? What aspects does he need to get better at? Besides that, how can he get better? Your video doesn't even go in depth, so he can't take any advice from you so far.
Also, you cut him out while I was trying to make his point, by the way, but you didn't even listen or let him finish. Not to mention, your point had no real relevance to what he said before or after this, and on top of that, you never even gave any examples for what you just said, which gives me the feeling that you're talking out of your ass.
This wasn't the worst video that you made, but boy, you didn't even listen to the video. Not to mention that this was a way back ago, but you aired it on December 10th. I mean, sure, you can say it's bad or anything, but I just felt like it was uncomfortable to watch.
Okay, here we go. You sound like you have barely any idea of what you're talking about. Well, kind of. You point out how he apparently never listened to the video, which I can't say I disagree with, since throughout the video he does have a habit of taking him out of context, like the password pointer, not letting him finish, like the sequence with the giant baby, which was an issue at a point in the video you skipped over, but, well, yeah. The thing is, we never, or, well, rarely saw you call out these things and could only understand where you're coming from if we saw the video ourselves. Also, you criticized him for the video being released far after Halloween, which is in itself a dumb complaint unless you're talking about his intro skit, where I'd be like, but you don't point in that direction. Instead, you just said the video was released far after Halloween, which apparently makes it an issue, but that doesn't ruin anything in the video, so why complain about it? Also, is it just me, or does this section of the video not flow well? I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but 1 second you're talking about how he released the video on December 10th, and only a second later you switch out to the video is uncomfortable to watch. It'd be like if I said this section like, this section doesn't flow well because you talk about how the video was released far after Halloween and this video is actually uncomfortable to watch. It's really hard to understand where you're coming from if you pace yourself like this. Scripting this could probably help you out here. Okay, for the rest of the video, he plays off a machinima video, so I think this is where I give up my final thoughts. It was a little hard finding a place to begin, but can I ask you to do something like scripting and planning your video ahead of time? It almost seemed like you just heard of Larvesta's video, decided to hit it, and realized you didn't have much to say about it. I mean, that's only an assumption, but let's be clear, the fact that you left in so much of the video without interjecting gave me that vibe. You rarely interject, and usually your interjections are hardly put together, and sometimes I have a hard time understanding where you're going. I'd recommend something like Kind Star or Cute Cut to edit with, and definitely more than 2 images of your avatar, and also script. Well, that's it. I guess next time I do a commentary, I can finally go back to that storyline. This is Lunatic the Game, signing out. And yes, I do know that Koto is technically not a furry, but she's close enough for me!